How's it going? Okay, so I want to make a quick video about Nasus and why I think Nasus in winner's queue is the best champion. I'm talking about specifically when you're playing in the winner's queue. There are a few champions that are like that, where if you get a good team, it's just impossible to lose. I'm talking about where even if you make a lot of mistakes, they're gonna be all forgotten. Your team just has to be decent enough, and you can snowball your lead to the extreme. I'm talking about, like, there are a few champions that come to my mind where I think about when if you place them into winner's queue, if your team is like decent, you 100% going to win the game. There's no shadow of doubt that you're going to. Another one that's back in the days I used to play is Soraka, is also very similar. If your teammates are good, they are very careful about their positioning. Like, it's impossible to beat a Soraka because she's just gonna snowball your team so hard. It's just like, especially if you get to 3 items on her, it's because you can build her where she has infinite mana and infinite. Maybe right now it's different, but back in the day you could build Warmog and she just infinitely regens health. So you're just standing in the back line, and you basically, it's like a fountain where, you go back to fountain, you regen to full health. She's kind of like that, plus the ult, which is just obnoxious to deal with. But there are a few champions, like I think Master Yi is another one that can do it. But I'll show you, like, there are 4 moments in here why I will show you why Nasus is extremely effective with good teammates. And in my opinion, the only counter to Nasus, realistically, is bad teammates. And of course, like champions like Anivia and Illaoi, they just absolutely make your life miserable, basically. We need to wait for the sound to kick in a little bit. I need to reset my drivers, or some mambo jumbo is happening, basically, with my... But look, first of all, when we're in the winner's queue, we know that the enemy team is probably not going to be super good. So you have all the jungle to farm for yourself, right? But I'll show you, like, you just stack, and then... Yeah. So, look. Look, I've been simply stacking for 16 minutes. I already have 438. Right? 438. The reason why I don't have 500 is because I took this dragon. Now, and this is, honestly, I would not advise this if you're playing Get Good style. This strategy is only because you're in a winner's queue. Right? Well, not this dragon, but this dragon here. This is like probably trolling, honestly. I would probably say that this is trolling. Now, the first thing I do is I buy absolutely obnoxious amount of ability haste and I start stacking, because if you have a lot of ability haste, Nasus does obscene amounts of damage. So you can do stuff like solo dragon very quickly. So I know in my head that Viego is probably not gonna be efficient on the map, so you can do stuff like this. Okay, this is, I came across this I just kind of came up with this strategy because, like, the jungle is yours. Do you know what I mean? The jungle is yours when you're playing the winner's queue, so you can do stuff like this. So this gives you a little bit of an edge, plus your team is good, so that gives you an advantage. Next dragon, I think my team was just rotated really well. Yeah, so I was able to take this. So this is where I want to show this moment where you realize just how absolutely busted Nasus is. Look, 438 stacks. If I don't take the dragon, I'll be on 500. And look at the power level between me and Viego. Just look, like, we are 1 level difference, okay? 1 level difference, not a big deal. Okay, but look at the power level. Look, you see, he's engaging. Boom. He's almost dead. Look, you see, he just lost this much HP. So I basically 2-hit him. Look, you see? I kill him absolutely for free. Like, the champions that can carry can kill other champions for free. They expend no resources. Now, the reason why I ulted in here is because I was anticipating that Pyke is probably going to appear somewhere, or the bot is going to rotate. I didn't look at the map because I didn't realize that Pyke was dead. I probably should not have ulted, but it's not a big deal because I need ult for the dragon anyway. Right, so but let's just look at the power level, the difference in power. And this champ does not need kills at all. All he needs is just farm and free jungle. And you can just... It's just like a complete massacre, basically, right? Now, this is one moment. So, but you see, like, you can just massacre another champion for free, and then carry on. The second moment was in here as well. So you see we have now 3 dragons, and at this level, look, you see you are surrounded by the enemy team. Okay, so this guy does not have priority, but at this stage, almost 500 stacks, I have my ult. I can 1v2 at this stage, and I will tell you, I will not lose a lot of resources 1v2. So you see, look at the damage, it's just obnoxious. The only mistake I made in here, I got stunned by Syndra and I didn't ult in time. Because it was basically my bad reaction time, because I thought I ulted once the stun ran off, but I realized I didn't. But it didn't matter. Just look at the absolute power level of this champion. And that's only on what? 2 kills, 3 dragons, and little bit of stacks. The other champion that can do that is Master Yi. I think he can do the same. So that's the second point. You see, like he's just so tanky and does so much damage. It's like ridiculous. If you give him space. And then final moment I'll show you is in here. Well, final 2 moments. So look, you see, I take my jungle. We go kill, I think Pyke we kill in here. No, I think Viego. Yeah, Viego, he ganked my top and I counter-ganked. And I left the kill. I could have went and took the kill, but I usually leave it for my teammates because Nasus doesn't really give a shit about kills, to be honest with you. Right, now, here's the moment where... This is the moment I'm talking about. Look, you see? All you have is 2 items. It's level, it's 20 minutes. Just go and take the Baron. And I'm on 660 stacks. Now, I can get to 700 stacks by 20 minutes if I want to. So this will be even quicker. But because I take Drakes, I noticed that teams in Winner's Queue, they like Drakes, so I take them. Otherwise, sometimes they get angry, so I just take them, you know? But look, you see, he can just solo Baron. No problem, at 22 minutes. It takes a bit of time, but you have to understand that the enemy jungler is probably going to be not efficient. He's probably going to be God knows where. So he will give you a lot of time. And then, obviously, you go take the dragon. And then the next one is... Which was another one. Yeah. So you're gonna be here a while, but you see, we won the team fight. My teammates doing whatever they want, and I just simply go and I take the Baron. So that's why I'm saying, like, champions that can carry games, they have to be able to kill other champions for free, and then be able to take big objectives by themselves. And Nasus can do that. Nasus can do that. Tryndamere can do that if he gets fed and gets ahead a lot. You can go, like, there are some builds you can do, like lifesteal builds, where you just take no damage, basically, and then that's it. But the problem with Tryndamere, why I don't play Tryndamere anymore, is because Armor just hard counters him so hard, like it's way, and his items are way too expensive. Way, 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 way too expensive. And another thing about them, if I can even swallow the price of the items, but the build path is horrendous. Horrendous. Like things like if you want to make Tryndamere strong, I'm talking about really, really, really strong, he needs Infinity Edge. And the build path on Infinity Edge is horrendous. It's just absolutely anything that he needs that makes him very, very strong has a BF sword in it and the pickaxe. And these items are omega difficult to get because of how expensive they are. And the build path is horrendous. So you see, you have those power spikes where you're just not very strong and then you become omega OP. But to get to that omega OP, most champions already have 2 items. And you're just like, hold on a sec. Hold on a sec. Can you pause? While I get my 4,000 gold Infinity Edge. And it gives you nothing other than damage. But once he gets Infinity Edge, he becomes very, very strong. Tryndamere. But people don't build it in high elo, and I don't build it when I play like in like whatever, like gold or platinum level, because it's just you just don't have the time to wait so long. But with Nasus, you see, with Nasus, his build path is good. He can build a lot of ability haste early to stack up, and he can solo Baron. That's why I'm thinking, like, if Nasus is not available, I'll probably go either Master Yi or probably Jax. I'm thinking, I'm leaning more towards Master Yi. Because Master Yi can solo objectives, and he can kill people for free. And you see, like Nasus, like, no problem. I kind of just give kills to this guy, just to make sure. I let them, because these guys don't give a shit about. They kind of like objectives, but once they get a lot of kills, they forget about everything. They just want to go and ram it down. And so you see, like, you can just solo everything yourself. Good champ, very, very good champ. So yeah, that's why I'm telling you, like, this champ is, if you're in the winner's queue, this is the champ to go for. Another champ I would recommend is probably Garen. In winner's queue, Garen is just very, very powerful. Because Garen can peel really well. Like, in a sense that, not because of CC, but because normally when you play winner's queue, your support is usually providing the CC. So you just silence, and his ult is, I think Garen ult is one of the most busted abilities in the game, because it provides true damage, percentage damage, and it has very, very short cooldown, and it's like execution. So you see what happens is, if somebody jumps on your ADC, you press your silence, ADC autos, you ignite ult, and then 100% one champion is gone. And he's so tanky that it's just like, you can't kill Garen easily, right? And now, so he can guarantee a team fight where there's gonna be 4v5. He can guarantee it, which is pun intended, right? Guarantee it. But I'm just telling you, like, I tried Garen as well. He's also very, very good. So I'd say, like, if you're playing winner's queue, you're playing to win. I'm talking about, like, and you're manipulating the system. I would go Nasus, Master Yi, Jax for sure, Volibear for sure. Who else? Master Yi, I already said. Oh my god, who did I forget? Garen is another one. Maybe possibly Mundo, because Mundo has very good jungle control. Because if you're in a winner's queue, like at this point, I noticed that when you're playing in winner's queue, all you have to do is simply take objectives, and they are going to 4v5 the enemy, no problem. I'm talking about no problem whatsoever. I even tested this on bots, where I basically put intro bots on my side and the intermediate on the enemy team, and I put it as a mirror match. So this was Ashe versus Ashe. I don't remember who support was. Top lane, I think it was, I don't remember who was it. It was Malphite versus Malphite, I think. And I was like, okay, I'm not gonna intervene in the game, but I'm going to give my team all the dragons. Will they be able to win 4v5 mirror match and I was playing Tryndamere. So another the enemy jungler was also Tryndamere. So they had a Tryndamere advantage, right? But I took all the dragons and I took all the barons, and they easily won the game, easily. So that's what I'm saying, is that you can simulate. That's why I like to play in like bronze and low silver and whatever iron, because whatever works with bots will also work with these guys conceptually. I'm not talking about like obviously you can't walk into 5 people in against bots. You can, as Nasus, as Tryndamere, as a lot of champions like Varvik, you can just walk into 5 people and just kill them because you're life stealing so much. But a lot of stuff that is kind of like macro, you can kind of figure out what works, what items work, because you can put Malphite, because Malphite bot usually builds the same item as the normal Malphite, and then you can see, okay, does that has viability in terms of killing tanks. So that's why I like to play kind of lower elo to that extent, right? So another thing I wanted to show you is, one second. Okay, so I want to show you this thing here. Okay, so one conceptual model. I think I made a video on this, like how to think about League of Legends. One conceptual model is like, okay, think of League of Legends as a card game where you start with 50-50. You have 50% chance of winning and 50% chance of losing, okay? And then think about things, what can you do to increase your chances of winning? So how can you make this 60 and this 40? So what behaviors, moves, champions you can do in order to tilt the probability of winning into your favor, all right? Because you have to remember that there are 2 systems, which is one sec, let me just think. Yeah, so one is a deterministic system and another one is stochastic, probabilistic system. So let me just kind of show it to you a little bit. So you see, like, deterministic system is where you have same input, same output, right? So it's like science, basically, right? Whereas League of Legends is more like this stochastic system where same input is you playing the game and output is different. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. So by default, you start with 50-50. So you're trying to, how can I tilt? Well, kind of, what can I do to make sure that this is 90% and this is 10%? So what behaviors, tools I have in order to tilt the probability in my favor? Because League of Legends, realistically, you're not going to win 100% of your games because they're AFK, but like, how can I do 90%, right? And you can think about it as a card game in terms of making moves and plays that tilt it in your favor. So, for example, there's draft in here somewhere. Good draft gives you 15 probability, increased probability of winning. So if you start the game at 50-50, right, we just go into the lobby. If you draft good champions, so this is you, this is enemy. Well, we're not going to call them enemy, we're going to call them opposing team. Because we're trying to be nice. So if you draft well, you have 65% chance of winning. But I have it in here. You see, like, good draft increases your odds of 60 to 65%. So then you need to think about other things like, okay, like people fight about Rift Scuttlers. It only gives you 0.75% probability of winning. It's not a game-changing move. So think about it. Should I go Dragon or should I go Rift Scuttler? And the answer is you should always go Dragon, because where is the dragon here? There should be red dragon here somewhere. Hold on a sec. 1 sec. Okay, so I added in here, you see first dragon, 12% probability. So the way you do that, you can ask ChatGPT real quick, by how much, whatever you want to do. Let's say, okay, if I get first blood, by how much will my probability of winning increase? And it will usually tell you rough estimate, okay? So look, for example, should you do Herald, which gives you 2.5% probability, or should you take first turret, which gives you 10% probability? So the answer is Herald. Oh, whoops, not Herald, my apologies. The first turret gives you much, much higher probability of winning. Taking Dragon Soul, 27.5 probability of winning. Elder Dragon, 32.5% probability of winning. So you see, like, you're thinking to yourself, okay, should we go Baron or should we go Elder? And the answer is Elder, because Elder gives you higher probability of winning, because Elder is the team fighting objective. If you take Elder, you're going to probably win the team fight. And if you win the team fight, the map is yours, you're just gonna win. Because at that stage, it's late game. Whoever wins the team fight usually pushes and wins the game. Or, for example, should you take Elder or should you take 3 inhibitors? You should take 3 inhibitors because it's higher probability of winning. And you can kind of research all those decisions in your, like, you thinking to yourself, okay, should I go take the dragon or should I go gank top lane to get first blood on whatever, Urgot, right? And then you can ask ChatGPT, what will give me higher probability of winning based on this play? And it will estimate and it will tell you, okay, based on this, probably dragon is a better choice. So that's what I'm saying, is that, like, you see these guys, they tend to aram it in the mid all the time. They tend to chase the kills. But kills, they don't do anything. Like, look, there's like first blood, it's like 3% probability of winning. There's like winning a team fight somewhere in here, I think, right? Team fight, look, winning a small team fight. So 2 for 1 death. So you killed 2 of them, they killed 1 of yours. 5% increased probability of winning. Compare that to Elder Dragon, like, or something like a first dragon, 12% probability of winning. And dragon is so much easier. So much easier. Like tier 2 turret is 15% probability of winning. So you see, while noobs are running around the map, they're trying to fight for the rifts, cutlers, you just go and take the turret and then that's it. But again, I have to stress this. I cannot emphasize this enough. You have to manipulate the system engagement either through dodging or like I do, where you int games and to get good teammates, because none of the rules of League of Legends apply if you are in the loser's queue, because there is nothing you can do to win the game in the loser's queue. You can take all the dragons, you can take the Elder, you can take the Baron, it will make no difference. It will make no difference. Because your team is full of inters. First of all, your statistical probability of taking a Baron and Elder while your team is inting is 0, but assuming that you somehow magically still able to do it, trust me when I tell you, you're still not gonna win the game. Because with this, like, I will always go back to the game that I say, these shitters ended up losing 17,500 gold lead advantage game. It is impossible to be this bad, but they somehow figured out how to do it. So your Elder Dragon or your Dragon Soul is not going to help them, because it's not going to help you, because the problem in that game is not you, it's that the system decided, hey, you won too many games, my man. It's time for you to lose, and I'm gonna pick the biggest trollers, shitters that play with their, I don't know, they play with their heads, they play with their nose or some, with their face, because it's like they're just not gonna be very useful, and there's nothing you can do to make them useful. So again, the first thing when I make videos, I'm assuming that you are in the winner's queue. I'm assuming that, because nothing works in the loser's queue. That's why I make videos about either quitting League if you want to play, because some people, they just play League of Legends, they don't want to quit. So, okay, fine. If you want to play, either dodge or use the 2-1 system that I developed. Alternative is, there's a third way to do it, which is just become prodigy of League of Legends, but like, you're still going to lose. And by lose, I mean, look, like, okay, spending 12 years on a kid's game to become grandmaster so you can win 90% of your games in bronze, even if you can do it, that's still a loss for you, because I would consider a person, just think about 12 years of your life just been chopped out, and what you have to show for it is, oh, I can win 90% of games in bronze. Well, I can do that right now by dodging and by using 2-1 system. I do not need to spend 12 years of my life. Now, trust me, you will probably get there. In 12 years, if you're young enough, you will get there. I have no doubt you'll be able to do it. But doing this is dumb. It's just dumb. Right? Because if somebody tells me, oh, I'm a challenger player, back in days, I thought, okay, that's like awesome. But now I think to myself, shit, this guy probably spent 10 years playing a video game. And now he probably doesn't even know how to go to shop to use a basic credit card. He probably doesn't even know how to do that. So that's a complete waste. You're still going to be considered not a very successful person. So that's what I'm saying. Avoid it at all costs. That's why I'm giving you tools. I'm giving you decision-making concepts. I'm giving you champions. I'm giving you systems. So you do not have to go through this complete obnoxious shit, which is just, don't waste your time on this. League of Legends is here to serve purpose, to serve you, which is to increase your dopamine, right? You need to, because when you do studies, you do work, some of the tasks are dopamine negative, so you need a system that will provide dopamine for you. League of Legends can be that system, right? So for me, right now, I'm having fun researching this engagement optimized matchmaking system. It's like a little side science project, and it's kind of like entertaining for me, so I do that. Provided I have finished my workouts, I have finished my studies, and I have finished my work, right? Once I do that, I give myself a candy, which is just do this League of Legends stuff. And it keeps me going. So, but under no circumstances do you spend 12 years getting to Challenger only so you can win 90% of your game in bronze. Do not do that at any circumstances. Under any circumstances, do not do that. It's a complete waste of your time. Use League of Legends as a dopamine booster, right? To have fun with friends, but do not waste your time on this. Okay? Take care. Bye-bye.